Hey, Facebook Live, baby. Open Eye coming up in a minute. That's right. See, the Open Eye is on WHGE 95.3 Facebook channel. But what I do is I pull it up on my, give me a minute, I pull it up on my Facebook channel so other people can get it too. So we coming, y'all.
The Billy coming up. He's not home down, is he?
For the most part. Yeah, for the most part. But yeah, he gets out there. His daughter takes him around. You know, see.
Now, Billy is younger than Maurice, isn't he?
Okay. Yeah, 2 years. Billy just turned 89.
Okay.
All right. Here we go, y'all. Yeah. Okay, you're on my watch party.
Well, I'm gonna keep moving.
All right, bro.
Just so you're okay.
Oh, I'm good.
And I'll leave the door unlocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Facebook Live, y'all.
I was planning on getting a pizza or something. Do you eat pizza? I mean, does it have to be vegetarian or anything?
No. I order it like that. All right, here we come, y'all. Here come my things on. Hey, Sherry. I see you, Sherry, baby. All right, we're getting started now. My boy get here soon. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm the Open Eye host, Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist. Are you ready to get that third eye open? If you are, you came to the right place, y'all. Yes, indeed. I got something for you today. By the time you leave the Open Eye today, you will have a whole nother perspective on how all this works. believe me. And as I always tell you, you don't have to wait until 11 a.m. on Saturdays to join us on WHGE 95.3 FM. We have a full schedule of programming for you. For instance, today at 4 will be my big brother Ed Johnson's Sports Zone. And I know the football season is winding down. You want to tune in and find out what's going on in the sports world, football, and what have you with Ed Johnson. That is followed by the Weekend Review. Well, I want to call him Dr. Alan Lawrence because this brother just brings it so hard. That's at 5 p.m. on WHGE, 5 p.m. on Saturdays, the Weekend Review. And as always, that is followed by our illustrious leader with Black History Facts and Reflections. More on what comes on during the week later on here, but I want to really get right to it. And like I said, Saturdays at 11 a.m. I know by noontime you'll be, man, I can't wait till next Saturday. Hey, run out and tell your friends. And oh, by the way, we are Facebook Live today. So don't be afraid to come on in and join us on Facebook Live. All right. This is the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3. You know, as we grow and learn and grow older and what have you, there comes times where, you know, retrospect is something that we deal with. Looking back and seeing if we could have did things differently. You know, I've had people ask me if you could go back and tell yourself, your younger self, what to look out for in the future, what would you tell yourself? Actually, I don't think I would tell myself anything because I pretty much like who I am. I like the trials and tribulations that I've been through, but there are some things that, you know, we probably wish we knew sooner. For instance, there's a big difference between genuine friendship and convenient friendship. Understand what that means. You know, genuine friendship and convenient friendship. I have to think about, you know, some of my friends. I have good friends and I have best friends. You know, a good friend, I bail you out of jail. A best friend probably be sitting there with you saying, messed up, dude. You know, not to say that some convenient friendships don't have a measure of realism. I tell you something, I always tell people, take care of your star player. Sometimes saying no isn't selfish. Sometimes you can't make sacrifices that are going to do damage to yourself. That's going to put you in a position, you know, when people loan money, you know, let me tell you how that works, especially for those of us that work for our money and money that work for us. If I loan you some money, I need it. But I look at your situation and think, well, you know, maybe you need a little more than I do right now. So I can wait to do what I wanted to do. And then sometimes I can't do it. And if I say no with my money, how dare you give me a ration of crack for that? Saying no is not selfish. Saying no sometimes just means you have to take care of your star player. When I say your star player, I mean you yourself. Family matters, but they can be wrong too sometimes. I mean, it happens. I was just talking to our illustrious leader, Mr. Harmon Carey, about trust and what I learned and what my father advised me about trust. My pop told me, don't trust nobody but your mama. I said, wow, Dad, not even you? He said, boy, wasn't you listening? I said, nobody but your mama. And watch her a couple of days before payday. My parents are going on to join the ancestors. I love you both, and you know I trusted you with all my heart. Life can change at any second, and so can you. At any second, things could be totally different before you know it. And who you are right now, you can learn something this afternoon that will make your life totally different from that point on. Life can change at any second. Occasionally, you need to remove toxic people from your life. If you're dealing with people that are negative and are bringing you down and are blocking you from moving forward and being naysayers on what you want to do. That's why a lot of times it's not good to tell your plans. When you deal with pessimistic people who say, oh, you can't do that. Sometimes these people are toxic in your life, and it's okay to remove them from your life. Let me tell you something, you will not meet the love of your life in a bar at 2 a.m. That's highly unlikely. If she's in a bar at 2 a.m. and you two, you're there looking for fun. You're not there seeking someone to share your future beyond tomorrow morning. You need to be ready to grasp opportunity when it comes. You know, sometimes your opportunity knocks on the door unexpectedly, and you have to be prepared to grasp it when it comes, you know? And missing that boat can leave you with regrets. And sometimes, I get this from Fred Sanford, opportunity to knock, you have to go out and find it. You know, you will actually be thankful some things did not work out the way you once wanted them to. Yeah, that's where retrospect, hindsight comes in. It may have been something that you thought you really wanted to happen. And then come to find out, when you see, you know, where that situation was actually landed you, you thank the stars and the creator that, ooh, glad that didn't work out the way I wanted to. Travel as much as you can. See the world. It broadens your perspective. It gives you a different view of, you know, the way things are, the way people are. Don't be afraid to, you know, move out of your comfort zone. You know, I know people right here in Wilmington that never left Wilmington. I know some people in Brooklyn that never left Bed-Stuy. Never went, you know, throughout the whole city. Travel as much as you can, see as much as you can. And this is something that I have alluded to throughout, you know, what I've been saying here. You are far more likely to regret the things you haven't done than the things you have done. You know, that leaves you sometimes in a place of woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know, I can remember I had opportunity to travel, and I asked my mom about it. That's the line that she gave me. And I'm so glad I listened to her, because I got to see things and do things as a young man that a lot of people to this day haven't seen and done. Sometimes you miss the memories, not so much the person. You know, sometimes you miss the times that you had. But if you stop and really think about it, it's not the person that you miss, it's what you enjoyed with them. And that's just like life lessons from the third eye optometrist right here on WHGE 95.3 FM. Stay tuned for much more. And like I said, we are on Facebook Live. If you know you having a little trouble tuning in, get on Facebook. This is the Open Eye of Patrice Gibbs. Hey, out there, don't be afraid to join us. And you can call us at 302-442-1661. Wait a minute, I got the phone hooked up. I better hook it up. At any rate, make sure you share the show. You know, like on the show, share. Make sure everybody else tunes in and get to enjoy what you're enjoying right here on Facebook Live. All right. Oh, let me respond to one of my favorite listeners. Quick there. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. The Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, the founders and builders of the Pearl Center. I always like to give a special shout out to the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets for sponsoring the Open Eye. These cats are doing really great work. You should definitely support what they're doing because they are doing really great work. The Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives. All right.
The views and opinions expressed on Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to belie any religion, ethnic group, company, or entity.
WHGE 95.3, Patrice, Gibbs, third high optometrist. Well. Whenever I see some things going on in our community, like violence going on in our community against each other, you know, that's one of the things I really can't stand. I'm not one for violence, but when I see us doing it to each other, I have to ask, why in the hell is George Zimmerman still walking around? Damn, y'all. Especially after what he did this week. George Zimmerman is suing Trayvon Martin's family for more than $100 million. I mean, this defies logic. After he murdered their child, now this bastard is suing them. He has filed a lawsuit against the family to bring the Fulton mother of Trayvon. He's suing the family of the teenager that he murdered 8 years ago, seeking more than $100 million from Trayvon Martin's parents and their attorney. And the Zimmerman claims he was the victim of a conspiracy along with malicious prosecution and defamation. I'm doing all I can, y'all, to remember that there are FCC regulations and not to be cussing there right now. Martin's family has responded with a statement saying there's no evidence to back Zimmerman's contentions that he was a victim of conspiracy. How the hell you're a victim of conspiracy? Yes, I know he was acquitted. I don't give a damn about that. And saying he was allegedly murdered Trayvon. No, the hell no. He murdered Trayvon Martin, white supremacist bastard. He murdered. And see, you know what? See, this is one of the problems that we had with the way we handle things. Now, everybody heard the 911 call that Zimmerman made when he was stalking Trayvon Martin. his whole reason for stalking Trayvon Martin was because he had decided that this young black man, this young black child, was someplace he didn't belong as a black child. I'm not going to call Trayvon Martin a young man because he was a child that was murdered. What George Zimmerman did, he did for no other reason than this child was black. And I'll be damned if Trayvon Martin's family came out and said, well, it wasn't necessarily about race. The hell it wasn't. Stop letting these things go. I'm not one for calling race frivolously, but when it's obvious in your face racism, especially racism that results in murder of a child, call a duck a duck. Give me that crap. Are you kidding me? It wasn't necessary. That was your child. And he was murdered by a white supremacist. Yeah, Zimmerman is Hispanic or whatever, European, surrogate, white supremacist, whatever you want to call him. He's a racist white man who murdered a black child because he felt as though this boy was in a place he didn't belong. And then had the audacity 8 years later to sue the family. My God. This is Open Eye, and you have to excuse me for a second here. Play something that's gonna change my mood a little bit. I always love a little Charlie Parker here. Let me see. Come on. You know, I feel some kind of way about this. The Open Eye. Hello? Let's see. Oh, sure. WHGE 95.3 FM. December 4th, this week. They was in, can't exactly say, but December 4th, 50 years ago this week, marks the assassination of who I believe historically one of our most important leaders. It's Fred Hampton. And of course, when you mention Fred Hampton, you can't mention Fred Hampton, Black Panther leader, without mentioning his second in command, Mark Clark. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the death of Black Panther leader Fred Hampton. On December 4th, 1969, Chicago police raided Hampton's apartment and shot and killed him in his bed. He was just 21 years old. His leadership was so extraordinary. A lot of us had no idea how extraordinary this 21-year-old man was. Also, Black Panther leader Mark Clark was killed in the raid. Authorities initially claimed the Panthers had opened fire on the police who were there to serve, allegedly there to serve a warrant for weapons. It was BS. But evidence later emerged and told a very different story. The FBI, the Cook County State's Attorney General's office, and the Chicago police had conspired to assassinate Fred Hampton. In his own words, speaking before his death, Fred Hampton said, Bobby Seale is going through all types of physical and mental torture, but that's all right. Bobby Seale, Black Panther founder, along with WHGE, because we said even before this happened, we're going to say it after this and after I'm locked up and after everybody's locked up, that you can't jail revolutionaries. That you can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail revolution. You might run a liberator like Elder Cleaver out of the country, but you can't run liberation out of the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting. That was Fred Hampton speaking in the 1969 documentary, The Murder of Fred Hampton, produced by the Chicago Film Group. Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were assassinated by the FBI and the police 50 years ago. You know, I said this on one of my videos, had a young sister tell me, you know, you're a leader. You're a leader. We're so glad that, you know, we have someone in your position, in leadership position. You know, let me tell you something. I do not call myself a leader. I thank her for the accolade, what have you, but I do not call myself a leader because America kills leaders. You know, that's where quoting Tariq Nasheed on here, but it does. America kills leaders. Fred Hampton, Mark Clark, yes, Huey P. Newton, of course, Martin, Malcolm, Medgar Evers, the list goes on. America kills leaders. And of course, my namesake, Patrice Lumumba, not only does America kill leaders, but global white supremacy kills leaders. And the next thing you know, I have no martyr complex and no wish to be a martyr. And the next thing you know, you have a street named after you. Patrice Gibbs Boulevard, where they're dealing drugs and smoking pot and drinking 40 ounces. No, thank you. No, thank you. I have no wish to be a leader. And I was just joined by my partner in consciousness, Nsoromma. What's up, brother?
Well, go on, my brother. My brother. I hear you.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right,
yeah. On the way in, I heard you. What's good?
I'm feeling it today, brother. I feel he's talking about Fred Hampton and his leadership and how important this young man was, who was assassinated. Oh, yes, we're Facebook Live, brother. Who was assassinated by, you know, the Chicago police. And 50 years ago this week, it was December 4th, at only 21 years of age. This young man, Fred Hampton's leadership was so extraordinary that the Black Panther Party nationwide looked to him as an example. He was a brilliant organizer, an extraordinary speaker, and very dangerous to the status quo, which is why he was assassinated by the FBI, the Chicago police, and, you know, some other people that were involved in that. Fred Hampton, we salute you, brother. We salute your revolutionary stance, your courage, and your contribution. True.
What's good? I hear you. Especially with Trayvon Martin.
Yeah. You want to talk about that song? You got something to say on that?
Yo, listen, I was like, oh, he need me there.
I hear you.
Oh my God.
Word. Indeed. know. WHGE 95.3 FM, the revolution will not be televised. Earlier, before Brother Nsoromma came in, I mentioned George Zimmerman, the murderer. I will not say alleged, the murderer of Trayvon Martin. And brother heard me on the radio. He said he really stepped on the gas to go and get here.
Listen.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know why he's still alive. It's just that simple with me. Fred Hampton times 100, because that was a 60-something. Right now it's 2000, so I'm almost the new Fred Hampton. I'm carrying that kind of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when it comes to me, hey, I don't play around.
I heard that.
And that I'm gonna leave it right there.
All right, brother.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
Some stuff you ain't even supposed to talk about.
It's that's what
court
I said,
right here, right now.
Yeah.
It's not tomorrow. It's not going to be nobody else's time. I'm holding court. I'm the judge, jury, and everybody that you think is supposed to be involved in knowing.
I feel you, brother. That's why I had to check my own self, and you know, the FCC regulations. And
some stuff is ridiculous. Did you see on the Facebook where the police just jumped out the car and just started shooting at the black guy that was running away?
How many times has this happened?
I mean, this guy shot he emptied the clip and flipped the clip back and still was trying to shoot some more.
Jeez,
and he had all these tattoos on his arm. You know what I'm saying? You can see all these Colts and stuff that he was with inside of, you know, on his tats on his arm when they blew him up. You know what I mean? And this is what we're dealing with here in America.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just in our community. This is all over the United States. Yeah. And they trying to seep it out into these other countries that's working with Trump and with what's Trump doing, you know what I'm saying?
Why we call it global white supremacy.
Because it's a business. I mean, when you're dealing with a person business, you ain't got to do business with them.
Right.
They forcing us to do business with them. Have you ever heard of the CQV?
No, what's that?
That's you.
The CQV?
CQV.
Okay.
That's you.
Okay.
You are the CQV trust that the government holds.
Okay.
You understand? Right now, you consider 7 years dead out the sea because you going by Patrice Gibbs in capital letters on that birth certificate that they give you. You understand? So you're their property and you're their corporation. So they can do what they want because you were manipulated into this. You know, our parents saying no when they said the doctor having a baby. Well, you want your baby name to be? We're gonna give it this birth certificate, and that birth certificate gives you death immediately. Your living entity inside of you die, and you become a product of the government. And that's how it starts.
That's crazy, bro.
So you want to go claim your CQV trust. You understand? Every person that's born gets $650,000. There's to $750,000. There's no person in the world that's broke. And the government take your CQV trust and invest it. And that's how they get their people to be able to say that, oh, we got these people right here that's making money for us so we can go get loans and all that. That's how they grow their business. We don't know none of this.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That's
and the thing is, you know, the process for learning to take advantage of this and learning to deal with this, you know, is something that you have to start today. Because like the brother was saying, for one thing, we are collateral to the Federal Reserve Bank, which is how they borrow money based on the collateral of their citizen. So when you're born, you are listed on your birth certificate. Your birth certificate is the document that makes you collateral. You know, this thing is off the boat,
strategically put together. It's a system that's strategically put together. I mean, anything that you do and structure to last, this is a long time. This is a long time.
Since 1863 is when you know, they started issuing birth certificates and listing the citizen. The American corporation started listing their citizen
Right.
as collateral for the American corporation. So yeah, I
And
mean,
that,
it's really,
and in that,
yeah.
the CQV Act of 1666 is who you became.
1666.
1666.
Okay, okay. Well, you know, like I said, you know, this thing is real deep. So I would advise you to do your research on this.
Almost definitely. I advise you to study, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Read.
right.
And that's the only way you can, you gotta fight the system with intelligence, because it was an intelligent system that was put together intelligently.
Right,
You know,
and like I told you,
saying?
this is not something, you know, that it took a long time to place the chains of oppression on your mind. It's not going to happen overnight, removing those chains.
Right.
You know?
Just like they think they had a right to run up on you and kill you,
right.
You have the right to do the same thing.
Yeah.
If you know what to say when you're doing it.
When you're doing it.
Exactly.
You have to educate yourself.
Right. They say, yo, put that down, stop, freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all there. That's all you gotta say to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
We back everything you say, long as you say this process.
That's right.
And then that process don't apply to some people that's not participating in their game.
I heard that.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
You know, and one of the reasons that, and I'm going to come to this, segue right into this. One of the reasons that we on the Open Eye always let you know we are not corporate controlled, okay? And not only that, but we are not part of the old bourgeoisie, old black media, which at one time was really educational and really, you know, educated our people and opened your eyes to what was going on. But now the old black media has become part of the status quo and more interested in having a comfortable niche within the system of global white supremacy than they are with educating and clearing up the minds of our people. And I, you know, proudly, you know, I say, you know, don't be too proud or, you know, pride and all this, that, and the other. But I am proud to say that I look at the Open Eye as part of the new black media that is not afraid to pull punches, that is not afraid to bring up things like, like you know, you were saying, what is the
CQV?
The CQV is
not a 1666.
Right.
That's who you are.
Right.
But
We're
you don't
not
know
afraid
because it's talking Latin to you.
Right.
And you don't know Latin.
Like I said, we are not afraid to bring these things up. We are not afraid.
That's right. I ain't afraid of nothing.
To crash people like.
And if you ain't afraid to die, you are ready to be the warrior.
Yeah.
You understand?
You know, and that's what Martin said. You know, don't fear nothing. Don't even be afraid to die. And like I said, as the new black media, one of the things that I salute the new black media, people like Tariq Nasheed, Professor Black, the Black Authority, Jason Black, and people like us, is when we're able to check someone who has found a comfortable niche in the system of global white supremacy and take them down. Case in point, Kamala, no, I'm not going to for black people. Harris.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris, yeah.
I mean, you just see how fake people are and how fast they can be switched, you know, and living, they living for a tribe of people when they be talking to all these people that's trying to represent us or you us as the people. You know what I mean? It's not just about you as an individual when you step into these positions and stuff. You know what I mean? So when you dealing with people that switch their agenda and it's not for the people anymore, I have a problem for that.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which is why I'm glad that, you know, we were able to take Kamala Harris down. You know, now when she ended her campaign, you had some of these, I hate to call them anything other than these so-called, you know, black spokespeople who said, well, you know, her campaign ended because America just wasn't ready for a black female president and this, that. No. Kamala Harris, first of all, when she was asked, what would she do for the black citizens of America? She said, if you think I'm just going to do something specifically for black people, no. Okay, so that was her mindset right there. Another thing was her record. Her record as a prosecutor and as Attorney General in California. Kamala Harris did more to lock up black people, more to push mass incarceration and to support private prisons in California than any of her predecessors. And then had the nerve to call herself a black woman, and which she only did when it was convenient. Otherwise, she was a woman of color. Okay, now that she's out, we come to babbling Joe Biden. You know, we ain't forgot you, Joe Biden, of the crime bill. Don't think just because, you know, she didn't get to take you down, even though she called you out on your racism.
Oh man, listen, all of them play that game.
Oh yeah.
It ain't just about the racism thing. It's about the whole structure, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about everyone's a slave. It's not just black people. Everyone's a product of this system, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we get it the most because it's designed for white people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's designed. They created it, so it's going to benefit them. Just like if we think of something, and when we do think of something, whatever it is that we think of, if they like it and it's underground and it's illegal, marijuana.
Yeah.
Marijuana was a prime example of the game in the system. In the 70s, marijuana was illegal. You smoke it, you get caught, you go to jail, you got a pound or whatever, you get an amount of time, and they was banging you upside your head ridiculously, you know. I mean, this legal system is the problem.
Yeah.
The system and the structure of the government is the problem. So if we ain't directing it directly at the problem, it's always going to be a problem, because we ain't going after the sole causer of the problem.
Right, and that is, you know, which is really one of the reasons that Martin was killed.
Right, when you know too much and you talk too much.
Yeah, Martin's ideal was, Martin looked at this thing, especially in the later years of his life, and he realized that this whole structure has to be revamped. The whole structure has to be revamped. The way capitalism works, with no safety nets for those that are exploited and what have you, especially understanding that global white supremacy's main target is black people.
Right. Yeah, we were the first product sold on Wall Street. And then every other product came after that. Do you understand? Toothpaste, mouthwash, bread, all of that came after us being sold, because the CQV Act says that you are a product. You no longer have no soul, so they can control you because you're not considered a soul carrier. Right. On this vessel that they are calling government.
Which is why, and I'm glad you said that like that, because, and look, I don't want to crash anybody's religion, but listen to what my man said. Okay, they declare you have no soul. Okay, if your slave master wasn't a Christian, what would you get? Okay, here's the thing. They did not push you into Christianity to save your soul, because just like my man just said, they didn't believe that you had a soul. Okay, now I gotta bring it around to, I'm listening to, you know, like I said, what I was saying about Martin, what I was saying about restructuring, revamping the whole system, and understanding what global white supremacy fears more than anything, and that is us. That is us. There's black people, you know, they're the enemy of black people all over the world. But more than any other black people, the black people here, who are the most unique black people in the world. I do not say that to put down any other of my African brothers throughout the world, throughout the diaspora and on the continent. But we are, without a doubt, a unique people. And it's for that reason that we are the most feared. This is the Open Eye.
95.3 FM WHGE. Yeah.
Come on, man. We're still with you, y'all. Sometimes
the computer slows up.
so it's up sometimes. That's word.
Oh, well, keep it moving.
Yeah, we just keep it moving.
Throw a cut there, right there. Keep it moving. What else will we say?
We got some other things coming. We got some other things coming.
Commercial break.
All right. All right.
Yo, you go into what I'm telling you now, you're going to be blew away, son.
Word.
I'm talking about all the way, all the way. You see what I'm saying? Because the CQV trust, which is you, and when you're born, they give you $650,000 or $750,000. That's what you get, but the government don't give you that. They give you this birth certificate and take your money and hold it as a trust until you're 18, old enough to make the claim your own trust. But most people don't claim their own trust. They go to your age right now that you don't even know about it. We 51 and 56 and 80. They quadrillionaires because the money that they had flipping in their CQV trust is their money. So what the government does is make that trust pays interest, and the government get the money that the interest flips off of that trust, and that's what the government is using for, taxpayers and stuff like that, flipping their own money. Now you can go claim your trust, don't take it out. Because the whole thing is, if you take it out and then spend them bonds, you're putting yourself back in play. So what you don't do, you don't take it out. You leave it in the trust. You take and claim the trust and have them send money to you from the interest of the trust. And you can off the interest of your trust that you got.
You beat the hell out of me too.
It's hurting me. You can manage all of it. Dad. That would now that hustle right there for no one really to know about this. There's a few people that know about it. You know what I'm saying? But for us most as America, they kept that. They definitely keep that stump like. You know what I'm saying?
WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye with Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're going to keep it moving. Something I'm going to mention here quickly before I get to some other things here is some of the stuff that the orange disaster is doing to people, especially our own. The orange disaster made a big deal out of his administration's admiration for farmers, calling them some of the most incredible people in our country. And the thing that I really want to look at here is the fact that the funds that were issued to help farmers, 95.5% of those funds went to white farmers.
Right.
Yeah. Now, according to the Department of Agriculture census, there were around 45,000 Black farmers as of 2017, the last count. Compare that to nearly 1 million Black farmers in 1910. There were 1 million Black farmers in 1910. Down to 45,000. That means, I'm not going to do the math right now, but out of 1 million, 45,000 are left. How did all those farmers lose their land? Yes, some of their children grew up and left the farm and this, that, and the other. But the vast majority of those farmers' land was taken or stolen from them by local governments and the U.S. government, by crooked banks, by crooked businessmen. They took their land.
When you dealing with, again, a structure, you got 5 people, and you take these 5 people, right? And these 5 people is, you say, the 5 richest people in the world, right now. And you take these 5 richest people in the world right now, and you take and put them in a room for 9 days. You don't think they can devise a hustle plan that the world can be affected by?
I know they can.
Okay, so now that's the kind of thinking that they do and the moves that they make. And these banks is nothing but front. They fronts. You know what I'm saying? The Federal Reserve, where do they get money from?
They print it.
Exactly. When they print it, what is it backed by?
It's backed by, for the most part, by the U.S. military.
And
if you don't use our money, we'll kick your ass
and kill you. Exactly. Yeah. So it's not backed by anything.
Right.
Anything.
Right.
It's not backed by anything.
Or silver certificate.
Right. So until we realize that this fiat money that we're throwing around is really nothing, and that dream, that America dream that they say, come to America, yeah, you in that dream, all right. You that CQV that's paying all this fake fiat money back to this government that is just a regular business like Sunoco or Exxon.
Yeah. That's what. Well, you know, like I said, these farmers lost their land through these government shenanigans,
right? And
people stealing from them, or you know, they were taxed off their land. Now you were talking about the money not being backed by anything. Of course, the money before was a gold,
silver,
right?
Yeah. Now,
you know? And that brings me around to Gaddafi, because what Gaddafi was doing was he was trying to convince the rest of the African nations to join forces and produce their own currency, which they would use to trade amongst themselves, okay, and amongst other countries and what have you,
that recognizes this,
and that would be based on the resources of Africa, which of course brings me to my namesake, Patrice Lumumba. Who said the resources of Africa should be for Africans. And of course, Lumumba was a student of Garvey. It's the only kind of things these things you're only going to hear right here on WHGE 95.3 on the Open Eye.
The Delaware Center for Homeless Veterans, also known as
and I was going to get into the 5 richest ones that was in that room. They made the Federal Reserve. They had came, got each other all together, and went in there and made the Federal Reserve and said, okay, these for Nixon, because Nixon was like, yo, look, we ain't even backing this fake money no more. The government no longer standing behind, you know, the federal note, because you can't go in the bank now and get that money, ounce of silver. You know what I'm saying? That the dollar used to demand. It used to say up on demand, your ounce of silver on $1. The silver certificate.
Right. Yeah.
That's what
gold or silver certificate.
That's
the bearer has the right on demand.
Right. That's
gold
real
silver.
money.
Right.
So this money that we got now
is a promissory note.
A promissory note.
That's what it is.
And that's where I was putting them at. That's what I was letting them know.
WHGE 95.3 FM. One of the things I gotta mention, of course, is education. Coming around here to the close of the show, but I gotta talk about this. You know, our HBCUs, you take a closer look at them and the education that they provide. Okay, let's specifically look at Howard University. Howard University has always been known as the Black Harvard.
Okay. So most people from there, they get it that when they say Howard University, they know is already blackballed.
Well, no, actually, Howard University. You come from Howard University, you're pretty much in good standing in the mainstream, because Howard University's reputation is that they're preparing you to compete in the mainstream. So you know, half of the well, let me get into this. Let me hit this now. The thing about Howard University now, right now, what is it? I gotta look here. 86% black.
Right.
Okay. that I'm not sure what the faculty percentage is, but let me tell you this, and this has been going on since its founding. Like during the 80s, a white professor teaching African history, that blows my mind, at Howard University, said this on the first day of class: anyone who references Ivan Van Sertima, John Henry Clark, Asa G. Hillard, Dr. Yosef Ben Hanan, or any of their papers is going to fail. These are some of the most important Black scholars in the world. At Howard University, a white professor is telling his students, 86% of which are Black, if you reference any of these men, you're going to fail. Now, in the 60s, despite a student population that was at least 90% African American, a common refrain from those that protested the curriculum was that Howard was not a Black university. The curriculum wasn't reflective of the students. There were no courses on Black history at a Black university.
I mean, they trying to take Black history out of all the schools all over the world, so you won't even know history of Black unless you go do research yourself. You know,
that's right.
I mean,
and this was going on from the 60s through the 80s to now. In the 60s, at the height of Black consciousness, Howard University fought tooth and nail against its students who complained that, for instance, just their theater department didn't do any works by Black playwrights. There was no jazz, no blues, or gospel performances allowed in the arts building. Jazz is America's classical music.
So why you think that they are trying to keep this particular race so down and not aware of who they really are? What is the
reason for that?
What is the reason? Why?
Yeah.
I mean,
because we are so powerful.
But
look what we do. Look what we do. Look at what we're able to do under the pressures that we're under. Now look, we went through slavery, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, and we're still resilient. We still are more influential than any group in the world. Even after after slavery, we left the plantation with post-traumatic slave syndrome. And no treatment to deal with what we had, the trauma that we had been
through. Only treatment comes from that system again, that governmental system. When you say treatment,
Mm-hmm.
you fall down and you get up and you brush it off and you keep going.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need treatment. That treatment is all a part of that system that's saying you need something. If you need it, you don't need it. They only saying you need it because this doctor said you need it.
No. Look what we've been through.
I know
you went through something really traumatic.
You know what I'm saying? We've been through
right?
a lot.
With no, when I say treatment, I don't mean necessarily treatment from the system. Right. But treatment amongst our own.
No,
with
that's
no
what I mean.
time.
That's what I want you to break down.
Okay.
That treatment right there is among ourselves. We don't need to go out and get treatment.
No. That's not what I mean. I don't mean go out and get treatment.
We need to treat each other to heal
right.
each other.
But what we didn't have was relief from the pressure that we were constantly under to heal.
Right.
And that's what we didn't have.
We never received the check and the reparation and the support to give us that relaxed sensation section of our lives to be able to heal.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I'm coming to.
Right.
Is that we never had time.
So that's the main cause that we should be fighting for, and that's what our whole structure of being right now in existence should be directed at. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Demanding our CQV trusts, because we know about it now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't go to court saying I'm Black and I want reparation. You go to court and you say, listen, I'm here as a special appearance, acquiring my CQV trust.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, look, let me get to this because time is running short. Okay, like I said, that lack of treatment, and I hear what you're saying with that.
That lack of treatment
with the CQV thing, and I hear what you're saying with that. Okay, but that takes some serious education to deal with that.
No, it's
Okay,
really basic.
and in the meantime, and see, this is why I say it's so important to understand the art of war. You have to deal with the system that you're living in, which is why you infiltrate the system and take it from the inside out. This is the mission that we were taught by Malcolm. This is the mission that we were taught by Patrice Lumumba from Garvey, and you know those
all the famous warriors, the warriors really fought in the battle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the lists go on. And your name should be on there. My name should be on there. I mean, it's serious. The revolutionaries before us should be on there. I mean, people that you never even heard of, the hung people that got hung should be on that list. I mean, that list is and that's why I emphasize that, you know, we need to stick together as our own people and our own financial structure.
Yeah.
You got,
and see, that was one of the things that, you know, Martin understood about changing the structure. And I even have to go, of course.
That's what got him killed too, you know that, right? That's when he started talking like that.
Like that.
That's what got him killed.
And because Elijah, who I've been very critical of, the Nation of Islam, but I respect, do for self. Elijah understood that. We were, of course, a society within a society. And when integration took down those roadblocks, we abandoned our own, which was a big mistake.
Right.
Okay. Now, because like I said, we're coming to a close. Let me say this right quick here, and then I'm gonna, you know, turn it over and then come back and do the rant. But at any rate, grapes must be crushed to make wine. Diamonds form under pressure. Olives are pressed to release oil. Seeds grow in darkness. Whenever you feel crushed, under pressure, pressed, or in darkness, you're in a powerful place of transformation and transmutation. Trust the process. Jim, Yada. This is the Open Eye.
95.3 FM.
Oh, wait, excuse me, y'all. All right, let me get straight here. And we're still Facebook Live. And I know some of our Facebook Live fans have been catching some of the behind the scenes.
It's cool,
know, and that's all good, you know.
That's the realness of the show. You know what I'm saying? It's all
right.
real here. Call in, ask some questions. We'll try to help you in whatever it is situation that you in, because that's what it's about. I mean, if we don't know, we'll make sure we'll find out to try to help. We'll do some research on your behalf. So it ain't about it just us. It's about us. For real.
For real, for real. For real, for real. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and into my rant here. Listen. Let me slow that up. Okay. Bad guys wear black. Good guys wear white. Did you ever see the film version of Jesus Christ Superstar? Jesus is played by a white man. Judas is played by a black man. Remember that test when the little black girl preferred the white dog over the black dog? I get way too many of these as a businessman. Look, brother, if you can't give me a break on the price, I'll be forced to go around the corner and pay the white man full price. He'll do a better job anyway. See, you've been nice knowing you. You go here and do what you need directions. Yeah, have a nice day. Because I always cheerfully send these people on their way. I never let them know how deeply it saddens me, black people still believe we don't know as much as the white man or won't do as good a job, that we are inferior. So we don't deserve the same pay or respect as whites. I would expect as much from a Klansman, from Webster. Black, a person belonging to a dark-skinned race or stemming in part from such a race. Soiled, dirty, or thoroughly evil, wicked, expressive of condemnation or discredit. That's from Webster. White, being a member of a group or a race characterized by reduced pigmentation of relating to or consisting of white people. The color of new snow or milk, free from spot or blemish, free from moral impurity. That's from Webster. You know what? We go into our cliques. The Baptists can't work with the Methodists, and the Muslim can't work with the NAACP, and and core and the bourgeois middle class blacks can't stand grassroots working class blacks. We've broken off into so many splinter groups. 3 brothers can't even get together and buy a loaf of bread because 2 of y'all will be mad that one of y'all got the heel that you don't even eat. That's what I don't like about us. When will we learn to love, honor, and support each other? How long will we have silly events like we used to have, like Black Dollar Days, where we go spend our money outside our communities to show that, to give this false impression that we have economic power? We don't have economic power because we don't have economic wisdom and we spend our money wrong. Our merchants and retailers won't buy collectively so they can offer competitive prices in our own community. Why not? Because one's afraid the other will get more out of it than deserve, or sell him out, or he can't be trusted, or some asinine reason like that. How much longer will we labor under this self-hatred? When will we stop allowing Western and others to define who we are? We're so confused we can't even decide what to call ourselves. Black Americans, where's the land of Afro? African American, Negroid, Asiatic, Afrocentric, Nubian Afro-Americans, whatever it is this week. The list goes on. Well, we're not Afro-Americans or Nubian, Negroid, Asiatic, Afrocentric, Nubian Afro-Americans, or whatever the hell it is. Or a product. We are indigenous to the entire planet. Thus, we are world citizens. Simply stated, we're black. But too many of us can't learn to love that, and that's what I don't like about us. Don't let them define us. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
This is the Open Eye.
WHGE 95.3 FM.
And as I always say, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you. And don't treat those as a priority that treat you as an option. Yabba. The Open Eye.
One day we gonna go out that motherfucking door. And they gonna be like, what the fuck is up with that? What y'all talking about? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we still on Facebook Live, but you know, hey, they get to see behind the scenes on Facebook Live. You know what we're doing. That's where look. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook Live. Yo, Patrice Gibbs. Nsoromma in the building. We got you. Make sure you're here next week because you're gonna learn.